welcome to the next part. So last time we got the base color for the greens down and the violets for the kind of like fleshy bits and open wounds. And this time what we're going to be starting with is using some Tundra Taupe. We're using Ochre as kind of the base for doing the kind of bone, parchment, some of those kind of like teeth, those kind of things. That's what we want to use. At least that's what I like to use. Because for Death Guard, you're going with a more kind of rotted, um, gross, decayed bone, and that's the tone we want to have. So we're doing that, and also I'm actually going to base coat a bunch of the trim and stuff that you would use normally paint like a copper color. Because I believe, like just in my experience at least, that painting metallics over a color that is close in tone, I think looks a little better. So I'm these little like little tapestries that are flying here. I'm gonna get them this color, and then also the little band that supports them. These are gonna end up being two different colors, but we can base coat them the same thing. So yeah, that looks okay. You can tell here the way that this is kind of pooling. I've got too much water. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wash my brush. I'm going to dry it. And I'm just going to kind of tap this. I'm going to tap that because that is a little wetter than I would like. Gonna brush it off on the paper towels. Yeah, and so you can kind of see like that really, that was a little too liquidy. So I'm going to dry my brush out really good. I'm going to go back to the old paint well here. And let's try this again. I think this may be a little watered down more than I would like. Let's paint another location. Let's go for... He's got these wraps on his staff. So we're going to get those. We're going to get those and we're going to paint them this ochre color. I'm going to try to get in between the fingers there, not get it too bad. And you can see that it's like, we can still see the black and the green and everything underneath where we're painting. Let me try to get it in focus. But it's still, like, you still got the color there. Like, that's fine. It's okay that it's not perfectly opaque, because that is a thing that we're going to deal with later. I'm going to try to put a little here, just to fix this a little bit. From the last video, I was talking about making the flies and some of the fly wing things a kind of metallic color shift paint. I don't think this ochre is a good base coat for that, so I'm not going to do that. Now, I'm going to hurt myself a little bit here by trying to paint these tiny details with this ochre. These little raised areas on the shin. I'm just going to get a little bit on those. And then I think the next thing is on the shoulder pads, they've got this little ring around the top. I'm just going to give it just a little bit of this ochre on those rings. We're going to paint copper over that, but I think that this will help the copper look a little bit nicer. And you know what? If I'm wrong, you'll get to see it in real time. These little baubles here, the little circles he's got, I'm not sure what these are supposed to represent. Those, I'm also going to paint this color because I think that those are also going to end up being the kind of coppery color. And the ring around his neck a little bit. Going to also get that. His other shoulder pad here, I'm just going to try to get a little bit of this here. And you can see, like, you can still see a lot of the green through what I'm doing, and that's okay. I'm going to put a little bit of this on the fly motif here and the marking on the glove. And I'm a little messy, and that's okay again. I feel like I'm saying that a lot, but it's true. Like, you just don't have to worry about it that much. Now, the question is on the backpack, do we want to change this up? I might have most of the backpack just be like a single like kind of silvery, like gunmetal kind of color. But what I think might be nice is if we have some small details that are not silver. So these like little exhaust port things. I think I'm going to paint these in the ochre, and then we can have them be kind of the coppery color, just to like break it up visually. Because if we have it all silver or kind of like a gunmetal color, I don't think it's going to look as nice. And that's just my opinion, but yeah, I think that might look nicer if it's got something to break it up. And I'm looking, they've got some of those little circular baubles as well. I'm going to actually put a little bit of this ochre on those too. And there's one more up here on the top of the backpack. I think, yeah, I think that'll work. I think that we'll do that. These will be a test, and we'll see how it goes. And I don't think that this guy has anything else. And like looking at this tonally, this isn't a huge difference. You know what? This will be our experiment model. So for the sorcerer, we've base coated in this ochre color, and we'll see how that looks when we paint the copper over it. And I might, for these other ones, I'm just going to paint the bone stuff. I'm not going to do the ochre for the other parts, the metallics. So let's get this going. Trying to get my paint nice and smooth. So yeah, we're going to do these shoulder pads here. Just going to... Oh dang, I just said I wasn't going to do that and I did it. Guess what, buddy? You're also a test model. So I'm just going to paint the rim. I've already done it. I've come too far. There's a little bell hanging from his waist. That's also a good candidate for this metal. Now, there's a skull here, and so I've already kind of decided that the bone colors are going to be based with this taupe. I mean, taupe, ochre. So I'm just going to do that. Get this little skull base coated in this. And since I've already got this guy's metal going, I'm going to do his dagger blade in that as well. Just a little bit. Try to get the back side of it, even though it's not going to be super visible. I think I will continue with the little exhaust nubbins on the edge of the pack. I'll have those be kind of a copper color. So I'll just do that, making a little bit of a mess, but that's okay. And then I'll get this skull here as well. Try to get a little bit of that going. Now, the question is, oh, he's got a horn here as well. So this is where I actually wanted to use this color, is actually for the horns. Wow, there's a lot of air in my... That's crazy. Okay. This taupe had a lot of air backed up, apparently. Making a heck of a mess. Okay. Well, that's fine. As I knock over everything. Okay, I'm going to clean our brush out. Get this dried off. Yeah, this is already feeling like really, maybe the medium kind of separated or something for this one. That's okay. We'll see if we can make this work a little better. Okay, so his little weird pointy horn here, I'm gonna have that be copper. So I'll go ahead and do that. Same thing with the little spike here with the skull. Now for this other shoulder pad, we'll go ahead and do the trim in this ochre. See, that coverage looks way better. I think I think maybe I shook it too much. The power of my vortex mixer was too powerful for this paint. Okay, I'm trying to not get any of this ochre on our little friend there, who is holding on to the horn, but like I've said before, we're not going to worry too much. He's got the horn in between his little mitts, and I think I'm just not going to bother with that part. And I think that that's fine. And we've already done the blade. I'm actually going to give the blade a second coat, because if I am experimenting with this guy, I want to make sure that it's like really got that color. Same thing with the bell on his little waist here. And I don't think I'm going to put any on the guns, so I think, oh, he's got trim around his neck. He's got like the little neck ring. Probably should use a smaller brush, but anything's possible if you're overconfident and don't mind making a mess. And lucky for me, I'm both of those things. So I did get some in places I didn't want to, but it's fine. I got some on these cables in the backpack. Guess what? Now it's intentional. Not a bug, it's a feature. And yeah, I think that that's okay. So yeah, now this will be the other guy who's a test model. I'm going to keep those separate. So when we decide to do copper, I will check with those guys and we can see how it covers. And yeah, go from there. So for this guy, he's got a big horn coming straight out of his head. So we're going to do that ochre here. We're just going to make sure that he's got that all done. Looking pretty good. This is a tentacle, but it's a bone now, baby. So we're just going to do that. Cover it in this ochre color. Same thing with the one that's coming out of this little jetpack here. Or not jetpack, but a backpack. He's got a massive horn on this shoulder pad. So this pauldron, gotta make sure to get this. Make sure to get a good coat on that. Trying to make sure that that looks okay. Trying to really get in there. And I think the staff has some wrappings. I think that I'm going to do that again for this guy. I like to try to be consistent, so I use this for the wrappings color on the other guy with the staff. And so I'm going to try my best to be consistent with this, because I think that that helps it look better. Like if you're maintaining consistency, I think that that's a useful strategy. So I'm not hitting the metallics with this. I'm just going to do the bone stuff. So there we go. Now this guy doesn't have a lot. Him and his little buddy, though, have these weird little spigots. And I think I'm going to paint those kind of a bone color. Mainly because I'm at a loss for how to actually paint them. I could look at the actual box art, but where's the fun in that? Where is the fun in that? I could just do what I feel like, and then when I make a terrible mess, I have no one to blame but myself. But honestly, like I've said before, it doesn't bother me. Like this is part of the fun. It's just mess around, play with it, like don't take it too seriously. And if at any moment you're in danger of taking it too seriously, remember that you're painting weird little monsters and stuff, and you know, maybe it's okay to just not worry too much. I'm gonna clean this out. Trying to be good about cleaning my brush frequently, because if you don't, you run the risk of, you know, getting paint up in your ferrule or having paint dry in the body of the brush and then that causing problems. So in general, it's just good to try to keep it as clean as possible. Now this guy doesn't really have horns, but his little friend on his backpack has like a little nub. So we're going to get his little nubs. Yeah, sure, that's fine. And I think everything else, yeah, that was fast, okay. I'm very curious how that's, using that is going to work. If the ochre is going to make the copper color look better, I should say. But we'll see. So this one has a handle wrap, so we're going to color that with the ochre. I'm going to try to get the back side of this as well. I'm trying not to get it on the like little metal handle edge bits, but you know what I say about that. Don't worry about it. It's all right. This guy's got a spiky elbow shiv. Everybody loves a good elbow shiv. And he's also got this one on his shoulder pad here. So let's get those going. Yeah, sure. Looking good. He's got a couple little horns on his leg. Well, it looks like it's just one horn. Well, no, it's a couple. It's a couple little horns. So we're just going to get all of those. And you can kind of see, like, I'm kind of using the side of the brush when I did that, and it just hits all of those at once. You run the less of a risk of getting paint where you don't want it. There's other little like sharp bits, but I don't think every sharp bit needs to be bone colored, so I think we're done with this guy. Okay. And our last little friend, he's got his little buddy has the little horns, so we'll get those. Or try not to get all that pink removed or purple removed. We've got a few little horns on the shoulders. I'm going to try my best to not make a mess here, but if we do, we can fix it. And then looking at the rest of this guy, he doesn't really have any other horn bits. So I think that's actually done. So that's a pretty short little step. we'll go ahead and stop there. And yeah, well, next time we'll try to do the metals.